Yeah.
Two boys.
Oh, we have 2 boys.
No, we're having twins, babe.
No way.
Hey everyone, so here's that video about my wonderful day that I was telling you guys about. So a little bit of background information. A week and a half ago, the day after Valentine's Day, Bo was sick. We ended up having to take him into the ER because he had a really high fever and had been having some difficulties breathing. So we take him in. Turns out he has the flu. Wonderful thing that we needed after having the boys hospitalized in January for breathing issues. So flu, passes it on to Elijah and passes it on to Brighton. Thankfully, Brighton just had a cold, so it wasn't too bad. And I thought, great, we're getting over this. This past week had been really great. They both had been getting better, and yada, yada, yada. Well, yesterday I started noticing that Brighton was having a harder time breathing again. He seemed kind of just not really himself. And last night we woke up about 3 in the morning, and of course it's always 3 in the morning, and he had a fever. So I decided that this morning I was going to call my doctor. I decided to get a walk-in because on Saturdays they only do walk-ins. So I call at 9 o'clock in the morning. It takes me 10 minutes to get through, and the receptionist tells me you're gonna have to go all the way to Longview. And I was like, that's fine. It's a 50-minute drive for those of you who don't know. From our house it's 50 minutes. And they're like, you need to be here at 10 o'clock. And it was 9:20, so if you do the math, that's not quite probable. And I'm like, I can't be there until like 10:30. And they're like, well, that's not going to work because our doctor will only stick around until 10 if there's no patients. And so we had a little bit of a talk about that. And I hung up super frustrated because I'm like, I have a doctor, but I can't get my kids in because they're just so busy. And when they're not busy, they don't have an appointment that's reasonable for me to get to. So I decided, I'm just going to call back. And because I really feel like he needs to be seen. And I call back and I explain to the receptionist, listen, he was a preemie. I don't want him to be going to urgent care. The last urgent care that you guys referred me to did not do babies. So is there any way that you can have the doctor wait till 10:30 to see him? Because I can be there by 10:30. So she's kind of like, okay, well, I'll talk to the doctor and ask, because it's really, kind of up to her. So they tell me the doctor will wait till exactly 10:30. If you're not here by 10:30, then you need to go to urgent care because we're locking up. And so I look at my clock and I'm like, okay, I have exactly like 50 minutes to get there. So mad dash into the car, can't find the keys, find a set of keys, get into the car again, start driving down the road. And at that point I was doing okay. I was gonna be there at 10:22. So I was like, perfect, couple minutes to spare, we'll be good. I won't have to speed too much, but hey, we'll be golden. Well, I looked down at my gas tank, and guess what? My gas light was on and I was just above E. So I text Roland as I'm flying down the highway, and I ask him, I voice text him, I don't text and drive. I voice text him and say, hey, babe, how long does our car make it on E? And he tells me from the red dot to past the red dot, you have 30.7 miles. We know this very well because his family is notorious for driving cars all the way till the last drop. And I look at my mileage on my navigation, and I have exactly 31.7 miles to go. So there's absolutely no way on fumes am I going to make it to my doctor's appointment on time. So I have to stop for gas. And at that point, I picked the wrong gas station. I picked the one that was really, really hard to get back onto the highway. but I picked that one. So then my estimated time of arrival is exactly 10:30. So I'm whipping down the highway, passing cars. I probably broke a few speed limit laws. Sorry. I really do try to respect the speed limits, but it was kind of a desperate situation because I did not want to have to wait in an emergency. And I ended up making up some time, so I pulled into the parking lot at 10:28. Might have actually parked in a handicap parking spot, but don't worry, I moved later. But we made it. I get in there, they see him, check him out. They basically look at him and say, he might be coming down with the croup, he might be coming down with RSV, might just be the flu that he had. Basically just watch him and see if he keeps getting sicker, bring him into emergency. So that was great. They really didn't have much information for me other than that he was sick and they didn't know with what. So that has been our week. I am ready for cold and flu season to be over because we've just been hit with one sickness after the other. So yeah, it was quite an interesting day. And of course on the way back there was traffic. And I get home and Elijah decides to take off his diaper and pee on the carpet and lock himself in his room by accident, and it was just one of those days, you know. But as I was cleaning the pee off the carpet, I reminded myself that, hey, I have to be thankful that I at least have kids to love, because I know there's a lot of people out there who would want kids and can't have them. So that was my day. That was my crazy journey all the way up to Longview. We survived. So yeah, if you think of it, pray for Brighton that he doesn't come down with the croup or RSV, because we really don't want to go back to the hospital. That would be the second time this year for the hospital, at least hospitalization. So yeah, pray for him, pray for us, pray for me, because I need some sleep. And thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoy, and I hope you guys have an awesome week and a great Sunday.